Welcome to my mindset lesson, Your Identity, Is It True or False? I am so glad you decided to join me. This is one of many topics in my mindset program, Elevated, Nothing Changes Until Your Mindset Changes. So exactly what is your mindset? Your mindset is a set of beliefs or attitudes that you have about yourself, and not only about yourself, but about the whole world. There are many aspects to a healthy mindset, and it has a great amount of impact on your overall wellness. And this is one thing for certain. You will not have a healthy mindset if you do not understand your true identity. This lesson has the potential to be life-changing. Please take some time for reflection and prayer about what you are learning so you can discern which aspects apply to you and which areas you need to heal or grow in. I've included a few questions at the end of this lesson. Again, please take some time, reflect on them. This lesson is broken down into 2 modules. In Module 1, I will be sharing about the importance of identity, the root of our identity, and common myths. And in Module 2, I'm going to share the benefits of healthy identity and give you some practical tools that will help you reshape any unhealthy aspects of your identity. Please take the time to pause during the module and between modules to think through what I'm sharing before moving on to the next section. Let's get started with Module 1. As I begin, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Please give serious consideration to each of these. First, who are you? I'm not asking what you do as a career. That is temporary. I'm asking, who are you? Second, where are you from? Do you know that you are not from a big bang, but that you were created by a loving God? And third, why are you here? The scientific truth is that millions of sperm rush to an egg, and yet you are the one that was formed. You are here for a purpose, and you are here to make a difference. If you have a healthy answer to questions 1 and 2, you know who you are and where you are from, how you got here, then there is great potential that the answer to number 3, why are you here, will turn into a beautiful tapestry that reflects a life enjoyed and well lived with immeasurable influence. I am going to share a very fitting quote by Shannon Alder, an inspirational author. The most important journey you will take in your life will usually be the one of self-transformation. Often this is the scariest because it requires the greatest changes in your life. Taking a good, hard, honest look at your identity can be scary, and it might require some work to change some very deeply ingrained, unhealthy thought patterns. But this can lead to a beautiful transformation. Identity at its core represents who we believe we are. So what actually forms our identity? The fundamental sense of who you are. It is shaped by a myriad of factors, the messages you absorb from your parents and upbringing, friends, society, and from your personal experiences and beliefs, your cultural background, and sadly, from the media, and even your genetic makeup all shape your self-concept from an early age. The painful parts of your story and the core wounds that you experience can also distort how you see yourself. And from all of those places, false narratives about your worth and your potential take root. And your spiritual aspect or lack of spiritual aspect plays a monumental role in defining your sense of yourself and the rest of the world. As covered in my first mindset lesson, Lavish Love, the foundation of a healthy mindset, your true identity is rooted in love. As a beloved child of God, if you have chosen Him to be your Father, you can break free from what are really lies and walk in joy and purpose. Now let's switch gears and look at what else feeds our identity. So true is this quote by Daniel J. Siegel, a well-known author and professor of psychiatry at UCLA. He says, "The most powerful sources of identity stem from deep below everyday experience down in the inner recesses of the self." Take a few minutes to think about what untruths have shaped your identity and are lodged in the inner recesses of who you think you are. We don't want to believe it, but it is true. There are many lies that we believe about ourselves. They could be new and fresh, but many likely started to take root a long time ago. From childhood on, we internalize untruths that shape our identity in very destructive ways. They form from the words that people say to us and from the words that we say to ourselves. They are words like, I am unlovable, I am stupid, or inadequate. I am ugly, unattractive, or damaged. I am unworthy of happiness. I am not good enough, or I don't have what it takes. You may not have voiced these out loud, but have you ever allowed them to take a seat at the table of your thoughts? If any of these lies play over and over in your brain, they are significant in impacting how your identity and mindset is formed, and the formation can impact every aspect of your life. Carol Dweck, in her groundbreaking work, Mindset, asserts this: our beliefs about ourselves profoundly impact our success and overall life trajectory. When we possess a positive and grounded sense of identity, it feeds into a growth mindset, allowing us to embrace challenges, persist in the face of setbacks, and view effort as a path of mastery. But the opposite mindset can impact us even more. Our false identities can birth deep pain, addictions, harmful coping mechanisms, and destructive relationships. The way that we see ourselves can also manifest in less obvious ways, causing deep feelings of insecurity and fear. And a negative self-concept traps us in limited thinking and self-sabotaging patterns. If we allow them, they will restrict our level of potential. They will destroy our confidence and keep us from boldly pursuing our purpose, or even the simple things that we would like to accomplish. Sometimes our negative mindsets manifest obviously, and sometimes they hide deeply inside our minds and show up in subtlety. Either way, they have great potential to handicap us. Think for a minute about a handicap. By definition, a handicap is a circumstance that makes progress or success difficult. What is happening in the circumstance of your mind? Are you stuck in any mindsets that are hindering you from moving forward in your goals and dreams? Are you looking to people, status, appearance, and achievements to validate your worth, as is commonly done? I hope not. Your identity does not have to be identified by others' opinions or even your successes or failures. Remember, you can be defined by whose you are, a beloved son or daughter of God, an heir to royalty. I'm going to be talking more about this in the next module, but right now I'm going to debunk some myths about your identity. Certain identity myths are deep-rooted and they persist in our thought patterns. I want to expose these lies and replace them with truth. As I'm sharing these, please engage fully and thoughtfully. Consider some of your own thoughts and feelings about your identity. These can surface at different times and in varying circumstances and with different people. It is important that you quickly recognize any myth that is formed in your mind and don't internalize it as something that is true. Do you in any way believe these? Here's the first myth. Do you believe that your identity is fixed and unchangeable? Or that you need to fully resolve all your struggles so that you can have a healthy identity? If so, that is simply not true. You need to bring your whole imperfect self to God. You are loved right where you are. Let God transform you. Progress, not perfection. That is the goal. Your identity can be reshaped and constantly evolving. There are likely many aspects that need to be reformed. It doesn't happen overnight. It is going to be an ongoing process as we grow and learn. You have to see the transformation as a marathon of growth and not a fast-paced sprint. The second myth is this. You may also believe that your worth is determined by your achievements, your strengths, and your talents. But this is also not true. Your identity rests on being God's child, not on your skills. Performance does not determine your worth. You need to avoid reducing yourself to a label based on your abilities. As popular conference speaker Graham Cooke elaborates in Brilliant Perspectives, your worth is inherent and divinely ordained. This is a game changer. If it isn't one for you, I hope it becomes one as you gain a better understanding of who you really are. Believing in the truth that we are a loved child of God fills us with new purpose, unfound strength for difficulty, immense value, and an unshakable sense of belonging. This divine recognition shifts how we see ourselves, and it prompts us to make choices rooted in purpose and internal significance rather than our false identity and changing desires. Do you want to live with an abundant amount of joy? I know I do. Tommy Newberry in 40 Days to a Joy-Filled Life talks about how aligning your identity with the fact that you are a child of God leads to an outpouring of joy and fulfillment. The reason this mindset brings joy is because it is not easily swayed by our external circumstances. Whether the circumstances in our life are positive or negative, we can remain steadfast, knowing that our intrinsic value is not derived from the accomplishments we achieve, but from our divine standing and recognition. You may need to redefine your identity. That will mean going through the process of removing unwanted and undesirable elements. The first step is gaining self-awareness. This will take regular introspection so you can identify misalignments and lies in how you see yourself. You will likely need to see some things differently. Ask God what you need to see differently. He loves you and He wants to open your eyes. We don't know what blinds us, but it can have physical, mental, and emotional impact on us. God wants to give you a new lens. According to psychologist Dr. Daniel Amen, you don't think yourself into a new way of living. You live yourself into a new way of thinking. That's why discovering our identity is so crucial. Identity becomes the lens through which we view ourselves, God, and the rest of the world. And as we look through that new lens, our day-to-day actions change, and in that process, our mindset is made new. We become a healthier version of ourselves. Do you need a lens change? A lens can serve three functions. It can make things clear, it can make things blurry and ill-defined, and a lens can block your vision. You may have different lenses for different aspects of your life. Your lens is a perspective that can take you to newness, fullness, and freedom, or it can keep you a prisoner of your past. God will renew your lens if you ask Him to. He can change how you see Him, how you see yourself, and how you see others. If God shows you something that you don't understand, keep seeking. Don't stand still and don't retreat. God is endlessly patient and good, and He will never give up on you. As you continue to refine your identity, ask yourself these questions about what you are seeing. What does this mean? What do I need to do? And what am I not seeing? You can see that these are all what questions. This is a healthy way to approach circumstances. We often ask why questions, and they usually come from the wrong lens. If you find yourself asking why questions, you probably need a view change, a perspective change, an upgraded lens. Some lens changes are small and some are big, but for certain, an upgraded lens brings joy and peace. God's viewpoint is better than ours. You have to come into alignment with His lens, His mindset, and His language. A healthy identity begins by how you see yourself, what you think about yourself, and then your language, or what you say to yourself, needs to come in line next. Without shifting your internal language, you'll never be able to live in what you see or think about yourself. In the next module, I'm going to teach you how to cultivate new mental habits to reinforce your new identity. Otherwise, you will default back to an inferior place, one in which your old thought patterns and circumstances control and come against you. As I wrap up today, I want to leave you with some questions to reflect on. How has your identity, the way that you see yourself, influenced your mindset and your approach towards life? Are there any identity myths you believed that you need to challenge and change? Do you have any gifts and talents that you are not using to positively impact others because an unhealthy identity is holding you back? And is there something in your life that you need a healthy identity, courage, and inspiration for? Take some time to think through these questions, and I will see you in Module 2.